What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream today. Special guest in the building. Geez, you look like you've been putting in work over the summer, bro. Pure Gym's back open, yeah? Tottenham Hale.
This guy, man, you always do this, bro. You're like Jose, you wheel me in and then you set me up like that, man. You never know when one of these guys might try a thing, man.
I'm telling you, man,
be out
Arsenal,
here, man.
our fan base are a little unpredictable at times.
Exactly, see how volatile they are. I don't want to go out without a fight, man. I can't lie.
Yeah, man. What are you saying, bro? How's your summer been anyway, man?
Bro, it's been calm, man. It's been calm. My health's there. Everything's there. We're finally getting some decent weather. We've signed some players, whether they're the players that could take us forward and that, I'm sure we'll get on. But yeah, man, like everyone, just dealing with the lockdown and all of that, man. Right now, I wish it weren't summer, Curtis, because like we were speaking about, it's fucking hot, pardon my language, man.
Yeah, English heat's like no other, man. It's different, you know what I mean?
Me.
But listen, Arsenal, man, you know, Arsenal, like you said, starting to do moves. And by the way, big up everyone in the chat. Make sure you subscribe to DG. I'll put the link in the title. You know what? I've never done it before, you know. I've never even... So when you said it, I was like, yo, let me Google how you do that, bro.
Nah, it just makes it easier, man. There's a little trick I learned off Rant still, man, because it just makes it easier. Because you lot in the comments, despite that's why I always at you on my title. Because despite saying go to support DG or go to support Curtis, some of you are still lazy. YouTube's already free, and some of you are still lazy. So you got to make it easy for these lot, man.
Man said we're looking like JLS boy band.
Wish I had boy band money. To be fair, man, we might be onto something. We might be in the wrong hustle still.
I'm telling you, man. But big up everyone in the chat. Make sure you like the video. Subscribe to DG. Let's get him to 40K quick and subscribe to me. Let's hit 30K quick. We're moving people. But listen, talk to me about Arsenal. Yeah, let's talk about what we've done so far. Then we'll talk about what might happen. Obviously, Lacazette, Tavares, Ben White. I just see a tweet that the medical's scheduled. He's probably going to happen as well. How are you feeling about those three as a starting point?
Well, obviously, all of them fundamentally, they all probably arrive with different roles in the squad. You know, Tavares, while I don't want him to accept being a backup, I want him to push Tierney all the way. He's probably going to be a backup in that regard. Knowing us, he might even play right back, but hopefully it's a backup left back. Obviously, with Ben White, long term, it ties into the system. If we could sign a right back and deal with what happens in goal, to go with Tierney, and I'd assume Gabriel when he's back, we've got a defense. With Lacazette, obviously, if Partey's injured, we've got another number 6. We've also got someone to push him. And we've also got, you know, while I would like to see a more expansive midfield pivot, that should be an option, Lacazette and Partey. So I'm happy. I'm quote unquote happy with the business. Is young players with scope to develop. Whether the manager or Arsenal's management have development plans and they can reach their potential and realize that is another thing. But I'm happy. But at the same time, personally, I would like to see a right back. I'm pretty sure you'd agree. You'd like to see another midfielder arrive. If it's going to be a 10, if it's going to be an 8. Yeah, man, you know, I'd like to see Ben White over the line while it's ever closer. Still a lot to be done, and I'm sure we'll get onto it. But outgoings, bro, you know, we need to see some movement in that regards.
In terms of, you spoke there about Tavares. In terms of Lacazette, I mean, I've only seen a little bit of him. Do you know much about him? What are you expecting? You sort of, I mean, I saw you tweet earlier about Guendouzi, and I'm seeing that he was doing bits yesterday for Marseille. Then I see some highlight reel of Buendia, some mad assist.
Right, the mad pass for Watkins and that.
Yeah, to Watkins, and I'm like, so what do you think with Lacazette? Is he going to be a backup? Is he going to be surprises and start? What are you expecting from him?
I do think, because there's an element of an unknown, he could probably surprise us. And, you know, such is Arsenal, God forbid, there could be an injury and he's thrown straight in. You know, obviously there's the AFCON as well coming at the end of the year, I believe. So between El Nene and Partey going, there'll be big boots for him to fill. I think we've got to urge a bit of caution. You know, he's got 78 appearances for Anderlecht. That translates to around 60 in the league. He's still developing, but the potential's there. He's been on the standby for the Belgium team. For me, I want him to come in and do well because it takes the workload off Partey. As you saw last season, as great as Partey is, if something happens to him, injury, suspension, loss of form, we need someone else to step in. So I believe in him. I think he's actually a quite progressive midfielder for a number 6 / box-to-box midfielder. So I'm impressed with him, but he's still young. He's just turned 22. I don't really want to put too much on him. And what I want to see with Arteta and Arsenal is that you allow these guys to like give them a different environment to flourish, because it's almost like our young players just flourish in and amongst disruption, like with Saka's emergence in Smith Rowe. I'd like to see when things aren't going right for them, they look to their left, they look to their right, they see players that get it. So I do think he's a player to be excited about, but we've got to give him time, man, especially the first 6 months.
Do you feel we're in a situation now where we've got to kind of buy untapped potential rather than we're struggling to go into the market and go and just blow the market up? You know, we haven't got that kind of money, but do we have to sign these kind of unknowns now and try and develop them? Is that the way you think we've got to go?
I don't necessarily think it. I mean, in the ideal world, you want both, innit? You want to be able to find unearthed gems, because everybody talks about stars. The stars, way before they play for the big players, big clubs in this world and stuff, they have to start somewhere. So I think everybody wants an unearthed gem, but I feel as fans, obviously, you like established names. You like one or two of those that you can look at and things. And I'd say I agree with you, but then I disagree. I'd say I'm more open to us going for that, because at least if it goes tits up, you can sell these players. Obviously, we can get onto the Kroenkes as much as we want. I am not Kroenke Defence League. He needs to go. But at the same time, we mismanage a lot of our finances. You know, Willian, we can't shift him because he's on big deal. You know, again, I'm not saying these guys are flops, but if I was to ask 10 Arsenal fans what they feel of Granit Xhaka, you know, Pepe, Lacazette, I'm sure 5 would say one thing, 5 would say the other. My point being, for the money we're spending, we're not seeing absolute confidences sort of thing. So we mismanage. So I'd rather see us go for this. You know, as much as I say we don't have the money to compete, we're sitting there and potentially spending 30 million on Aaron Ramsdale and 50 million for Ben White. I don't think Ramsdale's as bad as man make out. I think Ben White's all right, but people might say he's only played one season in the Prem. People might say, why are you paying that much for Ramsdale when he's had back-to-back relegations?
And that's the truth, man. Big up Sebastian with the super chat. Said, hi, Curtis and Gunnar. How will you feel when Arsenal with Arteta will be around 3rd to 6th place in the Premier League before Christmas? I mean, I don't think we mind if we're in between 3rd and 6th at Christmas. We're in the mix if that's the case. But you know, we will get on to Arteta later on in the show. But big up for the support. In terms of you just briefly touched on Ben White there. Obviously, £50 million. It makes him Arsenal's most expensive defender, I think, of all time. I saw a comment on Sky yesterday, and I forget who it was. They were saying he's probably not worth 50 million now, but Arsenal, what he was trying to say was when a player reaches a certain level, he becomes too far for Arsenal to get him. If Man City, Chelsea, those clubs say, right, we want him, he was basically saying Arsenal can't win that race. So they have to get a player a little bit before he kind of reaches that potential. So do you think this is how Arsenal are moving with Ben White? They're thinking if he has another good year, everyone's going to be going for him. So we get him now, even though it appears to be an inflated price.
I mean, there's two ways to look at that. I don't necessarily want my club or any club. I think just because you feel like you're missing out on a player in a day and age where everyone's got potential is a buzzword, it's dangerous. But what I would like the club to do is obviously, I think Ben White's a good player, but I'm not going to sit here and lie and say when we're talking about centre halves to buy and all of those sort of things, I would have said Ben White. What I hope the club have done is that and he has been linked with us in the past. They've done their due diligence. It's one thing to talk about the man's strengths. He's not going to improve if you don't work on a man's weaknesses. So they need to know his weaknesses better than he knows it. And also, like you kind of touched on it, I kind of spoke on this in my vid. You need to buy Van Dijk. I'm going to use Van Dijk as an example, but you need to use Ben White as you can see what he can be in the future. Yeah, we can say whatever, but you know, if you've got a way of how he ties into our system, what he's going to be long term, then it's all great. He's got to use Van Dijk as an example. Obviously, he's not Van Dijk level. He's not of the same stature. I'm sure he'd love to be of that level, but everybody had something to say about that price tag. He's sharp and out about it because he's done it. You know, the reality is he plays well. There's nothing he said about it. It is a risk because if he develops, there's resale value there. If he, you know, and ahhing and the current theme that we've seen at our club with not necessarily developing these young talents, 50 mil, you're not going to get, are you? So I hope to see him develop, but we need a plan. And not just him, Tavares, you know, he's a backup left back. I'm sure there's many improvements he's going to make. Lokonga, he's talking about as being a Belgium international. He's not that today. So what is he going to do? It's one thing to sign potential, bro. We need to realize it, in my opinion. And that's why I'm looking at Arteta.
Big up Stephen Jacob. He said, cheers to Curtis and Gooner all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Under lockdown at the moment. Gives me time to listen and watch your show. Love it, bro. Big up Stephen for the support, and I hope you guys are safe and well in lockdown. I think one of my biggest issues with Ben White, I've alluded to this a few times, bro, is I think watching him at Brighton, what I realized a lot of the time is Lewis Dunk is the organizer. Ben White plays right centre-back of the three. He gets to concentrate on his game while Dunk kind of moves them side to side. If you put Ben White, 23, 24 years of age, next to Gabriel, who's 23, who doesn't speak good English yet, who's still a little bit raw, you know, Kieran Tierney at left back and whoever plays right back, I still see a very inexperienced back four there. I don't know who the leader is in that back four. And I always think successful teams, they have a leader in the defense somewhere. You know, so, I mean, a few people saying here, Lewis Dunk is the better defender out of the two. I mean, I know he's a lot older and I know that Arteta wants a ball-playing centre-back, so I can see why he's gone for him. But I suppose time will tell. Time will tell with that deal, really.
You said it there, Curtis. I can't really add anything onto it. It's like, this is where we're looking at it. We looked at Partey to fix everything in midfield. We kind of looked at Gabriel to do what Ben White did 12 months ago. But Brighton take nothing away from Ben White because although he's only got 1 year in the Prem, he's done his thing. It's a system. You've got Graham Potter who clearly emphasizes defensively. And like you said, you've got organizers. The problem is we're going to expect fireworks. He's 50 million. We're talking about that, but many fans are not going to care about the fact that Dunk and these guys were more experienced and they were leading him and things like that. They're just going to expect Ben White to do the madness. And that's where has Arteta sat there and said, all right, cool. I know you weren't necessarily the leader at Brighton, but this is how I expect you to be. This is what I'm going to coach you into. You're going to be the leader because we have to be real. When Gabriel's back from that injury and Ben White's there or whatever midfield, I mean, centre-half partnership we do and the whole back four, 5, including the keeper, they're going to do dumb shit. Pardon my language. They're young. They're going to have amazing games. They're going to do dumb things. And I think that's what fans got to be able to consider as well. Even Saliba, they're going to do silly things. So this is where, again, the coaching, because you look at that defensive pivot, how many different partnerships were there? You know, the only way you're going to see Ben White improve and become a leader with Gabriel or whoever is if they become comfortable, bro. You play ball. You only get comfortable if you play games together. Everyone talks about new signings, but is there not something to be said in stability? I need to see a bit more of that because there's 40 games on paper, dramatically less. So there's a lot of questions that need to kind of be answered. And this is where I kind of feel sorry for Arteta with obviously the news of pre-season being disrupted, but I kind of don't feel sorry because we're not walking into July, August, whatever, knowing what we need to do. He's been knowing since he won the FA Cup, the improvements needed to be made. So yeah, man, you kind of answered that already though, but I couldn't add nothing to it.
Yeah, big up Alfred with a super chat. He said, Dunk is not really the better defender. White paced Bale Dunk out a lot. Also, even though he's young, Kieran Tierney will be the leader. I just think...
You got to be leaders.
I don't know. You play in defence as well. I don't know. I feel like centre-backs are usually the organisers more than the fullbacks because fullbacks bomb on. Fullbacks becoming
give us our ratings a bit. Come on, fullbacks. You see what we did at the Euros and that.
Wait, I've seen you scoring goals, mate. You're running forward and licking off shots. You know what I mean? While the centre-backs
attacks to do defence, bro. But you're right, though, man. You are. And
you know what I'm saying? Usually a centre-back.
Yeah, and you're right, because you look at half of these defensive pivots. You look at Puyol and PK. PK was a good defender, but Puyol was the boss. You know, Varane's spoken about going to United. Varane looked a bit shaky when you had people of his sort of level for France. When he's playing for Real Madrid, he had a Ramos. I'm not saying Varane ain't been good on his own, but that's where we need a leader and whatnot in that regards, man. So this is what Arteta's got to learn, man, because it is going to be like headless chickens to a degree. You know what? We're not. We might be third for clean sheets and that, but you wouldn't say we're mad defensive side and things. So there's going to be lessons to learn, and I think fans have got to accept that, regardless of who's in defense. But Arteta's got to minimize these mistakes as long as we're learning from it. We haven't always looked like we're learning from that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest problems, learning from the mistakes. Let's talk about players potentially coming in. I know we'll have spoken about them over and over again before they eventually happen or don't happen, but a few stories. Obviously, this story going round about James Maddison. I mean, how true it is or not, but I've seen quite a few people saying that, you know, Maddison is very open to going to Arsenal. You know, I think he's a bit of a lad, shall we say. I think he likes London. You know, he's got the Boohoo deal. He's into the fashion. He wants to become a brand, his agent was saying. Talking about doubling his wages. I mean, what do you think about this? Come on, man. It's there for him. It's ready for him.
I mean, if you look at it, I'm not sure at this moment in time, a lot can change. I don't think from a footballing reason, apart from the prestige of Arsenal and what we once was and the brand and that, I don't think there's any sense because, you know, Leicester have kind of bottled Champions League the last 2 years, but they've done better than we've ever done in that regards. They've got Europe. I'm not saying Arteta is or isn't a good coach, but if I'm a player and I think about who can improve me, I look at Rodgers, I look at Arteta. Arteta, a lot of people talk about him, but Brendan Rodgers, to someone who don't know anyone, I'd go there really and truly. Obviously, here he's got a bit of beef with Rodgers and things, but you're right, man. You know, it's sad that when you was listing them thing there, you weren't listing football reasons. It's all the London aspect, but we've got to play on it. I want it to happen though, but you can see it yourself. 65 M's. It's a thing where you got to put money on the table because other clubs might get involved.
There's reports today saying that Leicester still want Ainsley. I mean, I know on the outside it seems very football manager-ish. We're thinking, give them 50, give them Ainsley. Job done. The deal happens. It doesn't always work like that. But I think as well with Maddison, I know I was listing a lot of non-footballing reasons, but he would have been sitting there this summer watching the Euros thinking, I should have been in that squad. And, sometimes you think to yourself, is it because he's at Leicester? Even though Leicester are a much improved team and they're doing better than us, is it that, well, you play for Leicester, Mount's at Chelsea and, this, that, the other. So this is why we've left you out. I think if Maddison goes to Arsenal, he's a bigger profile. He's on a bigger stage. I think it's easier for him to get in the England squad. So even though we're not doing as well as Leicester, I think he would be on it. And a lot of people saying if a bid's accepted, then he'll be up for it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, as rubbish as Arsenal have been, people can say what they want. People are on joining us. If certain variables happen, there's a reason to sign for us. You're fully right in terms of if the big club bias and the potential that could play, despite a couple young guys getting in England. So I do think it's more realistic than a lot of people give us credit for. It could happen more likely, but it comes down to the bread, bro, and the structure of payments and what could complicate that. Not that I don't know, not that I know about the intricate dealings of transfers. If Arsenal try and give me certain lip about how you want to structure payments, I'm going to say, listen, I'm not being funny. I know Ben White's a good centre half. He's played in the Prem one season. You dropped 50 million on him. Ramsdale, 30 M's allegedly, if it did happen, I'm going to say, listen, I think 65 million is a calm price. And surely that can't happen without sorting out some outgoings. You know, we know the players that are linked with moves away and the rest of it. Would love it to happen, but yeah, man.
Stephen, big up for the support and super chat, bro. Said Maddison would be a great signing. Always been my favourite midfielder. I love to have him. It's a big profile to have. I mean, how good do you think Maddison is? And do you think he improves us a lot? I mean, Leicester, one thing I will say about Leicester, you look at the last few years, they've let a big player go. The last few summers, Mahrez went, then Maguire, Chilwell, Kante, you know what I mean? So I think if they could get 65 million for a guy they paid 20 million for, who has had a bit of a fallout, it might make sense to them. How good do you think Maddison is?
I think he's a very good player, man. I think in hindsight, he could have went to the Euros. He probably had one half of his season last year was better than the others, but I love anyone could improve us. There's players with substantially less ability than Maddison that could improve us. We're a bit on the floor, but he does take us up a level. One thing I like about him is he's got the 3 C's, Curtis. He's confident, he's competent, and he's consistent. And at 24, you'd want to improve a bit more. And it's the main thing is the confidence one. You've got to want the ball, especially when things go wrong. When it goes right, as you see at the Emirates, everyone wants it. All it takes is one stray pass. Arsenal fans who are not the loudest to make a bit of noise, it gets uncomfortable. So I think he improves us. Whether his signing alone means we get Europe, I don't know. I still think you have to address the spine of the squad, but it significantly makes us better. It's an option to play instead of Smith Rowe with Smith Rowe because if we see how Saka and these men link up on the football field. Imagine better players with the guys that are actually the better ones in our squad. Yourself, you kick ball. Better players play better football with better guys. It's as simple as that. Come on.
No, it's a no-brainer. I see a stat that he scored 8 Premier League goals last year. Bear in mind he was injured. He had issues off the pitch, what saw him dropped. All of our midfielders put together scored 6 goals last season. So, to me, he improves us if we bring him in. I think he's a good player.
100.
100%. Man said, DG caught me off guard with the vest. Man's hench, you know. Big up you.
Hey, no, cool, man.
This brother's been. I've seen him putting up posts early morning, fam, and I can just see weights in the picture. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, I told you I don't want to get caught lacking without a fight, man. Someone might disagree with my YouTube opinion. They might want me to go out, man.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying to get called up for the World Cup, man. Like you mentioned that goal, I'm looking at the right back scenarios at England. I think I can scheme on it, bro.
Hey, we got some good right backs. You might have to play for Jamaica, bro.
I don't mind. That's a Gold Cup business again. I don't mind. I don't mind.
Loz Incredible said, if I was a pro, I would see motivation in helping bring back a historically big club like Arsenal back to prominence. Yeah. You want to be the hero, man.
True. That's a good look. But it's all about what we're selling, because if you're Maddison, you want to know what Arsenal's plans are. You know, once you get past the prestige of the club and all the things that would make you, you know, what Arsenal is, how are you going to improve me, Arteta? How are you going to use the squad? What are we going to look like in my first year, second year, third year, etc.? Who else are you going to bring in? If Arteta can answer them questions and we can put the money on the table, hopefully it could be done. But it's a lot of ifs and a lot of buts and a lot of these things, my guy.
And Alfred said, no, he was a Rob spot, a Leeds player. We starting. He was a Robber spot. I don't know who's talking about. Ben White, they're Leeds. I'm not sure, but big up for the super chat. Anyway. But listen, one that I want to talk about, and there's two other potential signings I want to talk to you about, and both of them made me a little bit unhappy, to be honest. The first one, it triggers a lot of people because, you know, we sold that goalkeeper to that team. He then went and won that trophy with Messi, and now we're talking about signing some relegated back-to-back brother for 30 M's. Like, make it make sense to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Please. We can't be going back to the Emirates after a year and a half. You get excited to go back, and you're introducing me to Aaron Blood Clark Ramsdale, back-to-back relegations. Fourth choice for England, you know, only got brought in because a man got injured. Like, I don't know, man. I'm hoping that this is speculation, but it sounds like it's got legs. What are you saying about it?
Oh, you're doing him dirty. You know what it is? I think he's better than people give him credit for. I don't think he's dead, but I'm not gonna lie, it is uninspiring. And for me, I can't get my head around it for all parties. Like, if you're going to make him the number one, fair enough. It might have to be something I don't know, because he's renowned for being a good shot stopper, but nothing else past that to fans anyways. He's got back-to-back relegations, like you said. And for me, crucially, I hear we're playing out from the back. He might be better with his feet. We might see that he has the potential to develop, but do you know him as a ball-playing keeper? So to me as a fan, it looks a bit bewildering how he's going to tie in, because we're told that the goalkeeper is our first attacker. The first line of defense is our striker. We don't press coordinated, so I don't believe that. Yeah. I'm not sure how Ramsdale ties in. And obviously at 23, is he a leader? He must have leadership qualities, being in a relegation dogfight for 2 years. But again, you paint a picture. You throw him in there, you throw Ben White, you put Gabriel. Tierney's a leader, but, you know, it becomes a teacher sort of thing if it's just one man. Asterix over right back, we'll just say Callum Chambers. You look at that, you don't really see a leader. For me, I look at Arteta and I look at Eddie and I'm like, obviously, you're a Spaniard, you're a Spanish man, you're a Spaniard, you're a Brazilian. You ain't got no contacts. No one can find the equivalent 23 keeper there that might save us something. Yeah. Like, what's going on there?
Also, what I wanted to ask you with this, I mean, my expectation was that we would buy a backup keeper, a number 2. I thought we'd go for Matt Ryan, but obviously he's gone because he can get first team football. If we buy Ramsdale for 30 mil, does that then mean that somewhere down the line, Leno is leaving? Because why are we spending 30 mil on a guy we're going to put on the bench? There must be a plan for Leno to leave at some stage, even if it's the end of next season.
Bro, you said it there. Like, there's got to be something. You don't spend 30 million on a backup keeper. He has to, you know, he actually has to be the one, the number one. You could do that whole De Gea Henderson sort of nonsense. We might have a season of drama with that, similar to Leno in Czech, but he has to be it. You know, you spent 30 million. And for him, I don't know if you get called up for England if certain keepers are back, much less playing in the Championship with respect to the Championship. I definitely don't think you're going to get called up if you're not playing consistently. If you're in the Premier League, it's no good being on number 2. So it kind of is bewildering for all parties, you know, if he's not going to be the number one. You know, this whole Leno business, I don't think Leno's as bad as people make out, but I do think he underwhelms. I don't know if it's just you, but do you ever get the vibe that the club make decisions? It always feels like players would like to leave us, and it's a bit like a job. They're going on Indeed, and they're seeing other opportunities, and looking at it. You never get the vibe that we're making people make decisions. And again, I think the club must know, but to a fan, has Leno just left us high and dry because he went off to the Euros? We must have seen how he's feeling. He's gone off to the Euros. Opinions can change. I don't know when he's back for Arsenal, but in that time, we've had pre-season. We need to improve in our defense. We can't do that without a keeper. So I think we need to make a decision. I don't think we've really done our due diligence with scouting. And what scares me with any keeper we buy, I know Martinez did a madness, but you'd never see keepers improve. Like, does Leno's been an okay keeper, but does he look significantly better or just downright better since he walked in from Leverkusen? This is the issue.
I think the problem as well, when you take out emotion and the fact we support the club, Leno left a decent team in Germany. They're not one of the top teams, but they're a good team. They get Europe a lot of the time. He would have seen Arsenal as, this is my move, the Premier League, the step up. All of a sudden, Arsenal aren't even in Europe. Do you know what I'm saying? Manuel Neuer's getting older. He's in the German squad. He's thinking, if Neuer could be going soon from the Germany setup.
He's always giving interviews about the dressing room and stuff.
You got Ter Stegen in front of you. He's, he might think I can be German #1 next year at the World Cup. But if you're playing for Arsenal, 8th in the league, no Europe, that doesn't do a lot for your profile. Whether a lot of Arsenal fans seem to say, Leno, we can still upgrade on him. And I agree with that. I don't think he's a great keeper. I don't think he's a bad keeper by any means. But I just think to go and get Aaron Ramsdale, man, to push him is not the answer, in my opinion, man.
No, it's just bewildering because for me, especially in your end goal, you can't really have two quality keepers. It just lasts a season max. You need to have your #1. So I'm not too sure. And Jamie O'Hara, you need to let me not joke because you know the sort of gal he's dealing with, innit?
Yeah, I know, we won't get into that.
Yeah, listen, I don't care what Jamie O'Hara said, man. You're a shit baller, man. Shut up, man.
Because you know what? I seen you ripping apart. What's the other brother on TalkSport, man? Mills.
Yeah, bro, Danny Mills, bro. They're boy in it. Like, stop chatting about us, man. Like, no one knows. Henri gave you a career, bro. You won a cup at Middlesbrough, but no one knows you. He's at City. No one knows you. This man. If you go in Tesco's, come on, man. As much
as I can't stand O'Hara. Is he telling some truth here, though?
He is telling truth, bro, but at the same time, it's not exactly as white and black as that, isn't it? On one hand, Martinez came out of... He makes me want to disagree with it because he's Spurs. But Martinez came out of nowhere. We grabbed 20 mil. Of course, hindsight's a wonderful thing. And in hindsight, we should have kept Martinez, or at least in my opinion, told him that he has a decent chance of grabbing the #1 shirt. Because I think, I genuinely think Arteta said to him, and I don't know this, he said, you know what? Leno is my #1 kind of thing. You can work as hard as you want, but Leno is my #1. If it was an even fight, come on, the man makes a song and dance, or did, of fighting for that #1 shirt for 10 years. So why wouldn't you give it a couple more months, especially off the back of you winning a trophy? It does sum us up, and it is silly, but it's not as white and black as that, man. And Jamie, I just want to disagree with it because Jamie O'Hara, but if Jamie O'Hara's name weren't there, like if it was someone from Spurs with some clout, like come on, Jamie O'Hara, man, get out of here.
We don't want to hear it from him. Let me take his name.
Couldn't even play for Bellerin and them team there.
Man, I remember them times there, Bellerin manager and that, but. Nah, man, it's just bewildering to me. I say it on the show every day. If it makes sense, man, Arsenal probably won't do it, because it's crazy how what I never understood with the Martinez situation. I hate talking about him, but I didn't understand why a decision had to be made to sell him. Like we had Europa League last season. There was enough football to say, do you know what?
I think he said I want to bust out, Because I just genuinely think he's been trying to fight for this shirt. He's got a hold of it. He could have been part of the new school. And I just feel, like I said, I think they've told him Leno's our #1. And he's just thought, you know what? I fought for this. I've grabbed the #1. There's nothing more I can do. I don't want to sit on the bench. You're hearing he earns less at Villa. So the man just wanted to play football. He's left with it. He's tried his hardest. It didn't work. As you know, rightly or wrongly, sadly, football's just about opinions. And if the manager thinks Leno is the best thing since sliced bread, that's the guy that's going to be #1, And unfortunately for us, because we all knew Martinez was the guy and things like that. I personally don't think he didn't want to fight for the #1. There comes a point where man can't keep fighting pointlessly. I want to play football. He's 27, 28, maybe even older. Like he's a big man now.
Yeah, I mean, you could have a point. You know, it may have been that. I think with me, if I was Arteta, I would have said to him, the shirt's yours to lose. You know,
That's
Leno's
it. I don't
injured.
think he said that,
You've
bro.
come in and been exceptional. You've won the FA Cup. You know, why would I drop you? First game of the season, if you're fit, you're playing. Until you do something wrong, I don't take you out of the team, and Leno will have to play Europa League. But it is what it is. It's hindsight. In it, he's gone. You know, nobody could have envisaged.
That's what I would have wanted him to say, bro. But that's what I don't think was said. If you say that, then what can you say? What can Martinez say? That's how football should work. Two man fighting for the spot. The best man wins. We might have even better Leno last season because Leno had some good moments, but he kind of underwhelmed. Maybe if Martinez is on his back, who knows? But like you said, hindsight's wonderful.
Yeah, man. Chief Brody, big up with a super chat, said Leicester not selling Maddison for less than 75 mil because it's Leicester. You know what? I think in a pandemic, on the back of him having an injury and a fallout, I don't think he would cost as much as that. If we did get him, how much do you think he would possibly cost?
What, Maddison?
Yeah.
You could probably see a deal going up to that, but there might be a bit of a COVID tax, which probably puts it to like 65, maybe 60. For me, if I'm Leicester, I'm trying to push the 70 boat. But yeah, man, maybe there was a COVID tax. You know, Sancho was about to cost 100 1 year. Now he's 70. If we follow the same trail of thought, there might be a deal to be had there.
Yeah, it could be, man. People, people saying Smith Rowe's just been announced.
Swear down.
New number 10. I don't know if that's actually the new contract with it or just the new number.
Nah, it's got to be, man.
It's the contract. It's the contract. Yeah, it's got in the new deal.
Hey,
a meal. I like that. See,
where's them Villa fans?
Yo, you know what? At least we can hang on to our own player. We got to have something to celebrate.
Lidge. Now it's just, I hope people don't turn on the Don, innit? Because everyone's ecstatic. The man signed the deal and things, and now, you know, don't turn on him when he has that rough patch because he's going to be his first full season now.
I saw your comment the other day when I was talking about the 10. Do you think he's done enough to earn the 10?
Let's be real. In normal circumstances, he's done the business for 6 months. He shouldn't get the 10. But for me, listen, I'm Hayland FC. He's going to be a long term. He's done better than most people. I personally hope the 10 stays free just because, you know, we spoke about Maddison and the rest of it. But yeah, man, I think there could be worse in it. I think he deserves it, man. It could be worse. We've given it to Gallas. So we could do a lot worse.
Oh, DG, man, is saying you're lagging a little bit.
All right, man, let me come out and come back in. I don't know what's happening.
Come back in, yeah. Big up Buenos Aires, Guna, man. He said, in an interview in Argentina, Emi said he spoke to Arteta about getting a chance from his previous performances. Arteta straight up told him, Leno is my number 1, you're my number 2. Emi bounced Arteta as his favourites. And that's the thing, innit? Like, if he told him that, you can't blame him for leaving, you know? You can't blame him at all. Let me bring him back in. Let's see if you're back now. Yeah, he's all gone all over the place. He'll come back. Listen, if he told him he wasn't guaranteed to be the number 1 or he was the number 2, you can't blame him for leaving. But as you can see, people, breaking news while we're on the stream. It's always great when the breaking news drops while you're streaming, man. You can't beat that. Emile Smith Rowe, apparently a 5-year contract. It says 4-year contract with a 1-year option amounting to 5 years. Much improved. Doesn't reveal the amount of money per week. But he gets a number 10 shirt. What's your thoughts? Are you happy? Obviously, I think we're all delighted. Smith Rowe, new contract. Me, I'm a bit old school. I kind of think you should really have to earn that number 10 shirt a little bit more. Maybe I'm still caught up in the Dennis Bergkamp 10 days, but it is what it is, man. Football's changed, but it's good news, man. DG, you're back, man. Let's see. Are you lagging? You all right now?
Man said McDonald's Wi-Fi. Allow me, man. I'm with BT, man. So to be fair, it's not that much off the standard, really.
Yeah. Man said you're on the pure gym.
Hey, that's a good one. I should send you a super chat. That's a good one. You know, shout out to you. That's a good one. Hey, what's his name? MO7. Shout out to you. That's a funny one still.
What are you saying about ESR 10, man? Like, yo, I know you're DG 13, man. What are we saying about Smith Rowe 10?
I am happy with it, man. You know, I was hoping it would stay free so that Maddison and them lot could come, but Smith Rowe deserves it. And for me, you know, the pressure's on now because the honeymoon period's done. Everybody loves him now. Everyone's loving the new deal. Everybody's happy, but you've signed the 10 now. It's your first full season as a regular next year. The romance is dead. Same for that Okonkwo you as the number 3 keeper.
Yeah.
The same goes for Balogun if he gets a look, because Arsenal fans do this. I'm not trying to put a downer on things, but he's still developing. You know, on another day, when you get past the glamorous aspect of Smith Rowe, you might look at estimates in his game and think he could do a lot better. So it is what it is, but I'm happy for him. You know, he's wearing the Arsenal number 10. He came from the academy. I'm sure he's absolutely buzzing, but with great power comes great responsibility. Hopefully he does his thing. I'm happy for him. Like I said, Gallas has had it, bro. So now someone deserves it. I can respect it. I'm happy with it.
No, it's a situation where, listen, I think I have to move with the times, man. I'm still caught up in that, you know, Burkamp, Jack Wilshere, Mesut Ozil. You have to earn that 10 shirt for me. But listen, it is what it is. If he does his thing, I don't mind. But you know what? Is this Arsenal's way of saying, listen, don't get your hopes up with no James Maddison. You know, this is the number 10 for this season.
I don't want to look too much into numbers, but probably, you know, maybe, you know, I mean, we could get, you know, certain things can happen, man. I mean, what numbers are available? I see you did a vid on it. I swear quite a lot of juicy numbers are available. Now 10's gone.
Yeah, I had it up. I think 8's available, 4's available.
If 8 is available, then it's not all hope ain't no loss for Maddison. 8 is a decent number to wear, you know.
He'll take an 8 in it. Ian Wright, 8, man.
Trust me, can do the 8, man. Like you said, he's a Jack the Lad swagger. Number 8, cool, man. That's blessed.
Wear that right in number 8, man. But yeah, Smith Rowe. It says 4-year deal with a 1-year option.
That's cool. So it's a 5-year deal basically, and probably within that period, you'll sign an improved one. Like for me, I'll be surprised in the next 12 to 18 months Saka don't sign a new deal, because he's developed even more since signing that. He's an England international now. And for the fact that Willian's on 200 bags and Kolasinac is on bags, I need to be on bags a week as well if I'm Saka.
Yeah. Yeah, no, listen, 11's available as well, another good number. But no, if I'm Saka's agent, yo, listen, we got to sit down, man, because this guy, his profile just went up another level, man. That contract has to go up again.
Need some more zeros. Like I said, zeros, bands.
Yeah, there you go. Smith Rowe, 5-year deal. It's great news, man. You know what I mean, we can't have no more Villa slander, man. I've had enough.
I like, where's the Villa fans? So they're on the floor, man.
But to be fair, Villa, they're in talks to get Leon Bailey, man. Bailey, Buendia, and Grealish.
That could be lit still. That could be lit. I might have to, we're supporting Palace part-time. I might have to respect Villa part-time as well. If they get a JA tug in there, I can't lie.
I'm telling you, nearly 1.7k in here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video. DG's name is in the chat, in the title, so you can click it. Take you straight there. Subscribe. Doesn't take you away from the chat. Man. Talk to me about. We call him Tammy the Galembami, man. Man yesterday said on stream, he's a stretched out Eddie and Nketiah, yeah.
Hey, no, to be fair, brother, I can't lie, man. I don't want to do Eddie dirty, but if I'm Tammy, I think that's disrespectful because, bro, Eddie's not shown he's a gunman in top football. Like,
yeah,
he's not done it. But do you know what? I don't mind Tammy, you know. I'm not against it as per se, but when you see 40 million, when I see Aubameyang and Lacazette, if we're bringing in a striker, I'd like to bring in better than what we have, or a young guy with potential, in which Tammy does. But he's not them Isaacs and all of them sort of guys sort of thing. So it doesn't really make sense, really, apart from the obvious. Stretched out Eddie's not, because Eddie ain't scoring no goals in professional football.
Space Jam Eddie, fam, yo.
That's a funny one as well. But the wickedest thing, I think he could do what I think if Tammy should be going to a West Ham or something, I think he'll put some respect on his name at a club like that.
Apparently West Ham went for him, but they're saying they can't afford the deal altogether, 40 million next summer, and they want nearly 100 grand a week. They're saying they can't do it.
Yeah, he needs to cut that Chelsea bougie stuff out. Obviously, whatever club he goes to, step down, you might not get the same treatment you got at Chelsea, so you have to humble sometimes.
Obviously, it says Tammy Abraham is aware of Arsenal's interest in him. He's open to the move. A loan will be preferable. Chelsea want 40 million. The move relies on outgoings, and Nketiah are expected to leave. Lacazette would have to move. Is he an upgrade on Lacazette? Let's look at that one.
Maybe, do you know what the wickedest thing? I think if you start both, it's sad and it almost doesn't make sense. But I think if you start both of them for 38 games, I think Tammy will outscore him. But clearly, Lacazette is the better player for a big man. Let's be real. And this is where Tammy's better off going to West Ham and learning. His hold-up play for a big man isn't good enough. His heading isn't good enough. You're a striker. As a striker, you've got to expect defenders to miss, your colleagues to miss and follow in. But sometimes you watch Tammy and he's like us watching the game on the TV, and that he's just reactive when you need to be proactive. There's just little minor tweaks in his game, but I don't currently think it's an upgrade on Lacazette. He gives us longevity and all of them things, and I guess you could justify it like that in that he's 22, 23, but nah, man. I have to leave that one, man.
No, I agree, man. For me, I agree with you. I think if he played 38, he scores more. Lacazette drops a lot deeper, man. Tammy stays in the penalty area. He's a bit more of a nuisance. But the style of football that Mikel Arteta wants to play, he wants a ball-playing keeper, a centre-back in Ben White, a centre-mid. You don't want Tammy at the top of the pitch, because I see Tammy, a lot of moves break down when they get to him.
It wouldn't work anyways, bro. So he'd go through the same thing he goes with Eddie, Aubameyang and Lacazette, where they get in the side, they have these purple patches. But like we spoke about last year, we don't think Arteta has anything against these strikers, but he's not fully convinced on any of these forwards now. So what are you going to be in Tammy? If it's going to be of the same trail of thought with Ben White, and we spoke about Ramsdale and that, you see an image of Tammy that we can't see, then fair enough, what can we say? But from a footballing point of view, I don't think, Tammy, it depends how you look, rate a striker, in it goals win games. I think Tammy will outscore him, but in the modern day, you need to offer a lot, and I think Laka offers a lot more than Tammy does with a football.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's funny because when I feel a bit like, no, I don't want this deal to happen, it kind of makes me think Arsenal will probably end up getting that deal done. Like, I could see Chelsea saying, you know what, take him on loan, pay next year, and Arsenal will probably be all over that. Do you know what I mean? You know what Arsenal are on? Bright house settings, man. You know what I mean? So it's a bad one, man. Do you know what I see? I caught a bit of your video earlier where you was talking about Willian. And obviously, I see this report coming out that Inter are pulling out of negotiations for Bellerin. They only want him on loan with an option. They're not willing to put an obligation in at the moment, it's saying. I mean, if we're in a situation where next season we've got Hector Bellerin, Willian at the football club, what do we do with those?
Make me cry, bro.
Bro, I'm just trying to be honest with you, man. If we've got players like that on 100 bags plus, and we've got no Europe to give them extra game time, how do we manage them if they're still at the club?
Oh, manager have to manage. There's nothing else we could do. We're fucked in it, really and truly, because let's be real, we need to do a lot of outgoings. Nobody, in the same way we didn't get this level of playing squad overnight, we're not going to do all the business in what we need to do in one window. But like you said, I don't want to see the love drama guys, the guys that got the stigmas attached. With every 5 games, they've got a future. The next 5 games, it's a bit shaky. If Willian's here, the wickedest thing, you probably have to use him, because there must have been something in his contract. That's the only reason I can look at why he got so much football beyond Arteta's bravado and trying to save face, because, his minutes could have gone to other players. I'm not going to mention the young players. I'm just going to say Pepe. The Pepe we saw at the end of the season, could we have seen that earlier? So we probably have to keep using him, or he might have to suffer the same fate that Ozil did. But again, it's an L. Again, it's chances of mismanaging. It goes back to what we said at the start, bro. In that Kroenke is one thing, the individuals that handle the money, they're pissing about with it. We're not seeing value. And correct me if I'm wrong, we're told we're in a COVID environment and everyone needs to watch their money and stuff. So why are we being reckless? We're reckless in the wrong incidences. Like we do silly. Have you noticed we show proactiveness over rubbish players, and the good players we just drag our heels? Like, you're hearing ours 25 mil without all the other variables. Come on now.
It's crazy, isn't it? Big up Latte Firm, man. I see you doing big interviews out there, man. They're bigging you up. DG, I've heard a lot about you. Finally tuned in. Great chat.
Hope it's good stuff.
Nah, man, big up Latte Firm, big up DG, of course. They said not convinced on Tammy either. Yeah, man, listen, not for 40 million. But yeah, as we were saying, man, like you said, it's a crazy one. I remember last year, me and you did a few videos, and they were saying our 50 million Leon were asking for him, and we couldn't quite afford it. Fabrizio said the Arteta actually wanted our more than Thomas Partey at the time. He's now available for, they're saying, potentially 25 million. And we're going, no, we'll leave it. Like, it's baffling me, like, the way we do business. Apparently, Locatelli's the number one target, but that brother doesn't want to come here. He wants Juventus. So why not just go and get our done and then move on? What do you make of the transfer window? Are we going to have to be patient and maybe we'll get players in at the end, or are you a little bit nervous about what's happening?
You said it there. It's like, I don't want to act like the club is onto something, but when you see, I'm always so, like you said, when things look so obvious, Arsenal don't do it. But when things look so obvious, I start thinking, is there things in the background? Like, could our be happening? Could there be variables making people not place official bids? As you see, there's a lot of white smoke around our bids have been placed, no bids have been placed, this team's been involved, that team's been involved, but it seems like it's doable. Surely we should have 5 million, before we talk about getting rid of players. It seems attainable. And if not another target, because in the same way you got Lokonga in early, looks like Ben White's going to, not early, but relative to playing in the Euros early. These guys are now being part of pre-season. Arteta banged on about pre-season. I would have loved for the spine of the squad to be addressed. Like, I would have loved to have been in a world where we only talk about who's coming in at right back, because that's an area. A lot of people ask me, what signing would I prefer the most? Centre half, centre mid, and right back. And I'm sounding greedy, but I think you need all of them. I think I think with Chambers' emergence and Maitland-Niles at the club, you can say what you want about right back. Ben White, fair enough, is arriving. Midfield, we've got Lokonga, but for me, that's the spine. This is a season or better yet, pre-season to fix that, bro. And if that's not fixed, then it's more the same for me personally, because we're doing the same things, surely.
I'm looking at our squad now with obviously the two players we've confirmed and Ben White, if it happens. We've got a massive squad. You know, when you look at the players that have come back from loans last year, we still got decisions to make on Willock. Kolasinac needs to go. Apparently, Torreira returns to London next week. I think we're probably now hitting a situation where when Ben White's confirmed, I don't see Arsenal signing anyone else until a few players leave, because the wage bill must be through the roof at the moment. What do you really want to see done, and what do you expect to happen? I mean, I think Xhaka's probably going to go to Roma. It looks like we're struggling to move Bellerin, and you got players like Kolasinac and that. What are you hoping to see happen over the next couple of weeks?
Well, I mean, if you was to ask me the signings I would like to go the most, I would say my top three would probably be Willian and Kolasinac. Like you said, resources. You can't justify both of them being at this club now, and you're going to have to be playing Willian for the sake of it. I would like to see, I won't count Xhaka because it looks like he is moving, something sorted about Torreira, because I'm tired of him just speaking in the press, really. Would like to see the young players' futures sorted, man. Like, if we're going to sell them permanently, let them go or loan them out early, because I do feel for the young players, their seasons at Arsenal always half and half. Like, just let them go and make development now. So, yeah, like you said, we get Ben White. I do think we're going to have to put in a shift in terms of outgoings. I don't know. Have we offered these players in terms of swap deals? But these are not attractive players. And if they are attractive, like someone might say, I don't rate Willian, but I'll take him because we need a winger. Oh, look at his wages and the signing on fee. That's dead. I'm not really with that. So it's a double whammy, man. We've got players that are not good players. Like, nobody wants to depreciate an asset. No one wants to buy something that's broken. So it depends how good we are at hustling, really. We're going to have to hustle, because certain clubs, I do genuinely believe, if they had the scrap heap that we have, somehow we'd all be sitting here and applauding. Oh, how'd they get 40 for him? How'd they get something for him? Like, we always do it, And the wickedest thing is probably the young players that are probably more attractive to buy. Like, say what you want about Eddie, there's at least the dangled carrot of he might develop. Joe Willock, can he show the Newcastle thing? Ainsley, there might be something there. There's some, when you look at Lacazette and El Nene, they're probably just going to run down their deals. El Nene costs 5 million. Lacazette doesn't look like someone's trying to give us a transfer fee, much less give him a signing on fee, much less take his wages. So we're in a double whammy, really. Like, there's not much we can do, really. Like,
it's a very tough situation. Big up Alfred with a super chat. He said, that's how you know you have a lot of money, when you rather buy things at its highest price instead of when it's on sale. Arsenal at its best. I'm telling you, man, they'll walk in the shop, see it on sale and say, yo, I'll come back when the sales finish and buy it. I don't know what kind of, I don't know what they're doing. In terms of a few of the players that you mentioned there, just quickly, like Lacazette, 11 months left on his deal now. I don't know. I'm not hearing too much interest in him. If we get to a point at the end of August and no one's bought him, can we afford to let him run that deal down and leave, considering he costs 50 million? Or do we have to add a year or two onto his contract just to be able to sell him for something next summer? How would you deal with Lacazette?
I mean, we could do that because you look at Giroud, he signed a new deal at Chelsea and then left the other week, and they only got like couple mil on him. So we could probably do that. I don't mind them giving him a new deal, but I do genuinely see them just letting him run down his deal. You know, if you can help us get into the top 4 next season, then arguably you've proved your worth since you've signed for the club. You know, depending on how he does, he might get a year. It's a double whammy because Lacazette probably needs to be moved on. He should be moved on. We should be able to cope without him, but we can't disrespect the skill set he does have. I don't think he's a plan A striker. I think he's a great player to have in your squad. Hold up, play, pressing. These are all things any top striker should have anyways. But in comparison to our squad, no one else has that. So you get rid of Lacazette. You're then betting on Project Martinelli. I don't know if Arteta is convinced on that all the way, and you probably have them games like Martinelli against West Brom. Balogun would love to give him an opportunity. Don't know why Arteta doesn't give him more opportunities, but there must be something, and you're putting unnecessary pressure. So we might just say it might be cheaper to let him run down his deal than to pay a loan fee for Tammy and obligate 40 mil. You know, we'll reassess our market a year from now or something, and hope maybe Balogun or Martinelli, they have a sort of Smith Rowe thing where they go up a level, but I don't think we've got any choice, really. We got ourselves into this mess, bro. Like, there's no way around it, really.
It's crazy, isn't it? We spoke about it so many times how Arsenal don't seem to have an exit plan for a player. You know, you see, you know, when West Ham bought that, was it Haller, is it? And a year later, they got 25 million back straight to Ajax. Hasn't worked, gone. Where we end up keeping them for 5 years and then they go for free. And it's a crazy situation, man. Big up Cyrus with a super chat. He said, surprised we spent highest in transfers in the Premier League so far and yet not moved out players. Could we be in for a treat if we manage to move those players? I mean, I don't know, DJ. I mean, are you excited? Someone said to me yesterday, are you excited about what Arsenal have done so far? I said, you know what? I can't be excited about it. Lokonga, Tavares, Ben White doesn't excite me. It just gives me hope and optimism as a fan that, you know, they're going to do something. But they're not exciting signings because they haven't got a proven track record. Are you expecting an exciting name brand deal this summer somewhere?
I mean, like you said, with the 2 young players, they give me hope for what they could be in the future. I am somewhat excited about Lokonga, but it's not a gassers because, as you said, he's not a household name. Obviously, a part of you can't help but hope in it that, you know, we get rid of certain players. You know, the fans and the club will want to impress the fans. They want to make a statement. Maybe Maddison could happen more so than we expect. Of course, you've got hope as a fan, like every fan of every club, but for me, I try not to put my hope in the club. You know, if you show me it, then I get gassed. I don't know, man. I just have to accept things at face value, bro. So I hope so. I'd imagine there is, but until there's outgoings, I can't really see it, man.
Jonathan Amp, we big up for the super chat, said, do you think we could do a Lacazette for our swap deal? Would suit both clubs, give the Liga being cash strapped and Arsenal not using a transfer fee? I mean, they've lost Memphis Depay. Apparently, they inquired about him last season. Leon Juninho, I think he wanted him on loan in January or something.
See why? Because they don't want the wages, broski. Lacazette has to, for me, Lacazette has to try to secure the bag. I don't know if he's going to go World Cup, but he's 29 or so now. The next deal has to be about securing the bag. You know, he probably wouldn't mind signing a 1-year deal at Arsenal. He's got that security that he knows he's got a next 1 year. There's still an option to try one last adventure. So, we could win in that, but we'd be losing. We'd still have to be on his wages, and this is the problem. Like a lot of the outgoings, we're talking about wages. So we need to rework our own sort of things we're doing in that regards, man. It's crazy.
I tell you what, Edu has got a huge job this summer. Like he has got a serious job, and for a guy with no experience, a guy who, you know, we got rid of most of our scouts. This guy seems to go through agents. You know, I don't know. It worries me a little bit that we're not going to get enough done. If we end up in a situation where we've still got Bellerin, we've still got Lacazette, we've still, you know, got players that need to go, then how do we bring players in? Because we need a lot more than what we've done so far.
Yeah, it's like you said it, man. It's like, obviously, I'm pretty sure you'd agree. You don't expect all of the players to go. But again, the way it's looking, there's still going to be half the team with storylines. And like I said, it's about hustling, man. It's about hustling. And Edu's just the face of it, you know. Like, let's be real. You must. If you don't, there's problems. But how good is your team? You're only as good as your team, because you can't be everywhere. You know, I don't want to say not going to America is a blessing, because obviously COVID was a problem, and I feel it for the international fans. But could that be a blessing because our resources aren't stretched? You know, the time zone difference. You know, these things can make a difference in getting negotiations done. And you know, you've got to be a good delegator. You don't necessarily have to be a good transfer man. You just have to be a good delegator. You need to know what your club wants and how you get. And like you said, he's inexperienced, but that's a great part. Don't forget Garlic, but Garlic's only as good as his team, because we're doing the Garlic thing. We've had Michelin type, we've had Raul, we've had guys that got contracts, and you know everybody, you can do everything, but for some reason it ain't worked. Has that been because of them? It's like how we look at like a centre half or a midfielder to on a singular basis improve us on the pitch. You know, we can't keep looking at one guy. Every man and woman at this club has to move in the same direction. You look at Chelsea, check that Marina lady, it all comes from Roman Abramovich, you know, and then it trickles down to the gaffer. They've all got a whole negotiating team. The way they move with the loan stuff, you know, and then selling players and stuff, it's because they've got a team. Not one man can do that. And I don't know how good our team is, or if it's good, or if they're like Edu and they're all incompetent and stuff like that, because last season was a drag. You know, we got gassed off the euphoria of getting Partey, but you know, how good could Partey have done if you done it early? You know, how much of his problems are because of a lack of a pre-season? I don't know.
I mean, I'm looking at it now. If Ben White gets completed next week, that's 75 million done already. We're being linked with, you know, Locatelli, Ramsdale, Tammy Abraham, all these players. It looks as if this will probably end up being our biggest ever transfer window. We'll go well above 100 million, I think. But
to be fair, we've done that before still.
We've done it before, but I think we'll go way beyond 100 million. But
I hope so.
Is Kroenke actually... Listen, we all know Kroenke is not the right owner, right? We all agree on that. But can he sit there and say, listen, once again, I'm giving you the money, but who you're buying is not in my control. If you're going to spend 30 million on Aaron Ramsdale, that decision's coming from Edu, Mikel Arteta, and whoever. Like, are these guys actually wasting the money? Are they signing players that, you know, they shouldn't be going for?
Bro, you said it there, and the key word, the only word I got for that is accountability. All I want, because then you might see less of these Willians and things, because I don't genuinely think Kroenke, that's why I have a problem, because even if Kroenke didn't give a crap about football and use our money, man, just looking at the names, you signed Joe Bloggs for this much. How comes when I'm watching Arsenal, if he is, I don't hear this guy, or the fans are saying online, this guy is not good in that. So again, if there was more questions, I don't know if Arteta's being asked questions, not getting on his back, but why did you sign him? Why are you playing him? Suddenly it's different. If Thomas Tuchel is rubbing out, you know, Hudson-Odoi, Werner, bringing in certain players, you know, he's got to account for that at Chelsea. It doesn't look like there's an accountability and justification of such, because as you said, there is mismanagement. It does feel like people are left to their own devices, and with balance, that's not a bad thing. You know, these lot are novices. They should be given scope to develop and make mistakes. But at the same time, we need to realize that we're trying to do serious things. We haven't got time for this. You know, Willian, again, not to use him as an example because he's harsh, but how much of Arteta's bravado and attitude cost us in that period where we all know he could have been dropped and then played another player. So again, if there's pressure on him, there's an issue. But boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, man. What would you like to see Arsenal get done in the rest of this transfer window? What positions do you want to see addressed?
Bro, I want to see centre half confirmed. So Ben White confirmed. I want to see right back addressed. Centre mid, you know, an 8.5, as I call them. You could either get me 2 8.5, so you can get me an 8 and a 10. Happy days, innit, really? You know, if all of that's done, then I'm a happy man. I've got nothing else to say about you. Obviously, outgoings need to be done as well. But one of my fans said it in my live stream, and since they've done it, they've planted the seed. I can't lie. If we did every area and there was time, I'd be open to grabbing a winger, you know, winger / forward, someone that could do a thing like that, an attacking player that could score goals somehow. If you could play both, I'd be open to it still, if everything was done.
I'm interested, because then I'm thinking Pepe, Saka, Martinelli. And then obviously we've still got Willian, we've still got Reece Nelson, whether those two would go. I mean,
Willian don't count to me, dog.
Well, yeah, we don't count him, but he's here.
Next season, you're going on all them school things. That's him. You can do all of that, like trips.
Man, sending Willian to the community projects and all
that. Yeah,
bro,
you're doing that, man. Going to them football college courses, boy. Robbie can chat to him for AFTV if that needs to be done. Mend some relations between the club and that. Dead that, man.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Our wingers. Do you know what? I look at this season, I think there's a lot of players, especially in attack at Arsenal, they need to be 5 to 10 goals better off. You know, Smith Rowe, Saka, Pepe, Aubameyang's probably got to be 10 goals better off. You know, these guys have got to improve this season.
Exactly. You know? Like, they've got to grab goals, bro. That's why I kind of want Maddison, because he grabs goals, bro.
Yeah, no. Do you know what I like about Maddison? He shoots from distance. I'm sick of having these number 10s trying to play through balls from the edge of the box. Just shoot, bruv. I want a goal scoring 10, man. Do you know what I mean? What do you think about, obviously, Willock? Joe Willock scored a lot of goals. There's rumours he could go back to Newcastle. What's your feelings towards Willock?
I think every option should be on the table, man. If it can be done, then I'd be open to selling him permanently. I'd be open to having him in the squad, provided Arteta is going to use him in a certain way, so that the way he's being spoken about at Newcastle, man, are speaking about him there. And I'd be open to him going back to Newcastle, because like Smith Rowe, as much as I love Joe and whatnot and how he's been playing, it's only been for half a season. Can you do that from the start? Because now there's expectation. When there's no expectations of you, or they're on the floor, no one don't know, you can do your thing. Now that people expect what is going to happen. And I think with Joe, I think it could be an issue, because with Joe, if he comes and everyone, you know, certain people that are screaming to keep him, if he's not scoring goals, they're going to get onto him. You know, he might leave and improve. So I just think we need to work. Man said, what's your track workout? Hey, man, the leading workout plan soon land, meal plan soon land. That might be the bag still. I can't beat it, man.
Yo, I'm telling you, I'm expecting a protein shake. I'm expecting gym vests, all sorts, bro. You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm on the Bayern Munich diet, man.
Yo, I don't know what. Yo, Goretzka thing, innit? Yo, I went gym this morning. I seen DG come on in a vest. I said, bro, I'm going back later on. Double session. I didn't work hard enough today, man.
I need to work harder. COVID made me lose weight, man. I'm trying to chase it all back, man.
Stevie Bergwijn in business, you know.
I'm going to have an elite season, bro. Jose's gone. I'm feeling myself at Spurs now still.
Yo, by the way, man just sent me this picture. Yeah, Chelsea are trying to troll Arsenal on Twitter, man. It's mad. I'll show you
with that guy, the basketball brother.
Check what these men are tweeting.
But we beat them, man, there, innit? So listen, we have to be shameless. Can we play you lot every week? Champions of Europe. You still couldn't come bang us, man. I'm sour still. They're boying it, man. They're boying it.
How are you putting that on your official account as well, man? You can't be doing that.
Hey, man. We need to go rush them, man.
Innit, man? But we play that. In fact, we got them in a friendly, innit, in a couple of weeks.
Definitely. Listen, if we beat them, Arsenal, we got to ruin the internet just to show them. Because that's one thing. Arsenal fans run the internet. That's why talk shite is always getting onto our players.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Yeah, it's true. What's your... Just finally, a couple quick ones I want to ask you. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang this season. What's is it him? Is it the system? What's the problem? I watched it. I'm sure you did a watch along as well, Rangers.
God,
I'm having to hide. Like
I didn't see nothing, man. I didn't watch the game, so it'd be unfair to talk on some of those misses on the Wenger thing still.
Bro, no, man's doing the Wenger thing. Man said I didn't see it.
Them ones there, Aubameyang's my guy. I love him. I've been screaming and just speaking positive energy. He's gonna get back to goal scoring, but he was moving mad. Like you said there, it's a bit of everything, bro. It's Aubameyang. You know, if your situation isn't working, you've got to take accountability. I think a lot of it is Arteta's system as well, because we were collectively ninth for goals last season. So I think even Willian can hide under that excuse for a bit as well. So I think it's a bit of everything, man. What I'd want to see is, if you don't rate Aubameyang and you're worried for Aubameyang, you don't want to play him, and you don't find him part of your system, I'd rather you drop him, try do the super sub thing, because we can't keep persisting. And that's where I'm scared, man. I'm very scared, bro.
Yeah, man. I just think for me, Arteta, you gave him that contract. Do you know what I'm saying? He won you that FA Cup. You've got to try your best to get more out of him. You know, you need to get it to a point where we know it's not the system. It's just Aubameyang, you know what I mean, has declined. At the moment, we feel like it's a bit of a mixture of both. But I just think for us to have a successful season, he's got to be on form. We got to get something out of him, man. Vegas Connor said, this guy Arteta brought in Willian on high for 3 years, paid Runnison $2 million a year, sold Martinez and loaned out the backup left back. He's awful. I don't know why, Vegas Connor. I get the impression you're not the biggest fan of Mikel Arteta. Oh, it's a mad thing, man. What's your hopes for the season? What do you think is the minimum that Mikel Arteta needs to achieve this season?
Bro, you need to get Europe. Simple as that. I would love it to be Champions League. It could end up being
Conference
Europa.
League.
Well, no, dead that. Apart from that, in it, proper Europe. Like, you need to get Europe. Simple as that. You don't get Europe, I don't think you should be here. If the only saving grace would be if there's a real style of play, you can see real development and progression collectively and individually among these players. And it really looks like Arteta's Arsenal now, because this is your second season. The gloves are off. It could be long for everyone. We can't carry passengers, even Aubameyang. You know, I've got all the faith in Aubameyang. I want him to start the season and stuff. But if you're moving long, we have to drop you. We've been carrying everyone now. It sounds a bit harsh, but we need to be cruel to be kind now. It's Arsenal Football Club. And I do think at times it becomes more so about certain individuals, or what certain individuals would like to see or do, than what is collectively best for this football club. So, you know, it's a no hiding place. You need to get Europe. For me, realistically, in my head, it's top 4 in it. Like, I think top 4 was attainable last season. As much as I don't believe in us, I think if is the only question, but ifs and buts are not anything. But if we, we was dropping stupid points and doing stupid stuff. If we wasn't doing that, we're getting top 4. I'll take Europa because it's better than this year. You don't get that, you have to go, bro.
Do you think we got enough to get top 4?
Honestly, no.
When you look at City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United.
No, but at times, is it an individual thing? When you've got a system, when you've got a way of playing, when you're embedding, the centre halves, the midfielders and stuff, sometimes you have overperformance. We've been seeing teams overperform, The wickedest thing is, even though I don't believe we ain't got good enough to get top 4, how many times did Arsenal sit there last season and go, you know what? We lost to the better team. They won the game. There's nothing more we could have done. We go back to the drawing board. We lost it because of lapses in concentration, not starting games well and having to draw it 1-1, or we'll go down. It'll take a goal to go down, and then we'll look like a football team. Our game management, our man management, there's so many questions we can answer of ourselves in relation to top 4 before we hide around our players ain't good enough. Our system isn't this, that, and the third. There's a lot we can address to be stronger there. Because there's teams that have performed better than us last season that got F-all to work with. We're night for attack. Teams that finished ahead of us, they got better attackers. I can't sit here and say that. You sound like a spoiled kid, really, if you say such.
Yeah, no, it's true, man. I think. Listen, I'm just in my mindset at the moment is try and be positive. It's the start of a new season. I've even said on my video, I ain't talking about Arteta getting sacked and things like that. He's here. They're gonna back him. Let's hope we start the season well. As bad as we were last season, and we were terrible last season, we were only 6 points off top 4. There's plenty of games we could have won and gained them 6 points, So let's see. We got to get moving and shaking in the window, man.
Bobbing and weaving more like, bro.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Listen, I'm going to let you go, DG, because there must be some protein or something you're having. Cause I don't know where.
This guy, man. Leave it alone.
Nah, big up DG, man. Like I said, his name's in the title. Go and subscribe to his channel. Over 1,800 of you in here, man. So surely you can get a little 200-300 of you go over there, man. At least, you know what I mean? But nah, big up. What, you got anything else going on today? You want to let them know?
Do you know what? I'll probably just go live about this Smith Rowe business, Fuck it. Might as well. I don't know when, but sometime today. Apart from that, nothing, man. I thought it was off, man. But I want to gas Smith Rowe on live, man. I might just do a Smith Rowe thing.
Do a Smith Rowe number 10, man. Arsenal's number 10. I'm on Highbury squad tonight with Kevin Campbell, man. I'm going for him tonight. No holds barred, but when he comes on my channel, I have to, be calm and let him talk. Tonight, I'll do the talking. That one.
You said you're onto about the Arteta capping.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, big up, man. I appreciate you coming through. We'll do something on your channel next week, man.
Yeah, man. We'll talk, man.
Yeah.
Let's say Wednesday. Thursday.
Yeah, definitely, man. Big up everyone in here. 1,800 of you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to DG.
Get him to 30 people, man. Get him to 30 and beyond that 100 and all of them things there.
Yo, we're going, man. Don't worry, man. We're going, man. Are you going to the Chelsea friendly?
Yeah, Yeah. That'll probably be it, really. The way they're moving with, you need this COVID passport and all of these things. So
that could be the only game, bro.
Yeah, because I think we're going into lockdown for the end of the year again, man. Not to take this conversation left, but it just seems a bit too good to be true. Numbers are rising, everything's opening. I think it's long again. I can't cap.
Back to the watch-alongs, man. You know them ones.
Trust me. Hey, it's a blessing still. Can't lie.
We make it work, however. But listen, big up DG, big up everyone in the chat. I'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. and then Highbury squad tonight, 8 p.m. And check out DG's Emile Smith Rowe video some stage today.
Come on, appreciate that.